reject woke ideology. We fight the woke in the legislature. We fight the woke in the schools. We fight the woke in the corporations. We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
Welcome to the Shepherd Zeal channel, where you could have been anywhere in the world, but your clicking has landed you right here. I want to start off today's video with Governor Ron DeSantis and all the uproar with the state of Florida banning the AP African American Studies course in high schools across the state. So let's get into the video of what Governor DeSantis said as to the reasoning why this ban of African studies was needed. And then we'll come back and see what the fuss is really about.
We want education, not indoctrination. This course on Black history, what's one of the lessons about? Queer theory. Now, who would say that an important part of Black history is queer theory? That is somebody pushing an agenda on our kids. And so when you look to see they have stuff about intersectionality, abolishing prisons, that's a political agenda.
So you heard what the governor had to say, but for some reason, the spokespeople, quote unquote, for the Black community are outraged. A little disclaimer, these people do not speak for me. Anyway, as you can see from this article on the screen, Black leaders totally object to Florida's so-called culture war against African Americans. I say, let's hear what those so-called spokespeople have to say, because there could be some merit to this. Second disclaimer, I am a so-called Black man, even though my skin is brown, and I know what the color of black looks like. But I'm going to play this game for today because I know how the world likes to categorize us all. Now watch this.
So Bakari, what do you say to Governor DeSantis and his defense for blocking this course in Florida?
Well, I would say to Governor DeSantis, if he was in front of me, I would say that your blatant ignorance is showing. He asked the question, who would care about Black queer studies? I would say that the king of rock and roll, Little Richard, was a Black gay man. I would say that the architect of the March on Washington, Bayard Rustin, a Black gay man. I would say that one time, one of the greatest minds of our generation, of our lifetime, James Baldwin, he was once asked by a reporter about the challenges he faced in his career growing up Black, impoverished, and gay. And James Baldwin laughed and said, "I hit the jackpot." And so the type of ignorance that he's doing is nothing more, than a political ploy. In my heart, Aaron, it infuriates me because I have to defend my Blackness. I have to defend my Blackness to a very small man who ran great campaigns to be governor of Florida. I have to defend my Blackness and my being. And that frustrates me. And the audacity of someone like Governor DeSantis to come out and tell me what my history is and what can be taught to my children, I believe is wholly unacceptable. But this is where we are. And these culture wars are where we are in American politics.
Whenever you hear someone say, I have to defend my Blackness, run for the hills, because they have already drunk the Kool-Aid by placing themselves into a box that the world has told them that all he is a Black man. But you know what? Someone should tell him that Jesus doesn't see skin color, and he can be set free from that ideology of race and color of skin. But I have digressed. So let me back up a moment to where he mentioned who would care about Black queer studies. As if it's something good that as a Black man, I can hardly wait for my kids to take that class. I would kindly decline it because the indoctrination of the school system will not be teaching my kids that nonsense. You see, the Bible tells us in Isaiah 5:20-21, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. The word is clear, and it does not sugarcoat how elites and the media outlets of this world would like to twist the mindset of another race into believing that somehow this is a good thing. I am sure that not all of this curriculum that is in this course is bad, but that's how Satan works. He will sneak in snippets of other things that completely go against God's word. But let's keep watching.
and to politicize African American history is shameful of this governor. And we should do better because our kids deserve better.
The governor says that because this course includes the study of queer theory, because it talks about political movements that advocated for abolishing prisons, because it focuses on the reparations movement, that all of that, in his view, is political and that it shouldn't be pushed on students. Can a course like this be taught without including those issues?
Listen, a course like this should be taught honestly. A course like this should be taught with the truth involved. History sometimes it involves the good, the bad, and the ugly of what has happened. But we deserve honest history. And if you're talking about advanced placement African-American history, then you're talking about some of those things like reparations. You're talking about some of those things like Jim Crow or slavery or the Reconstruction and the backlash to Reconstruction. You're talking about the Civil Rights Act. And those are uncomfortable situations, but they're not political in the sense that we're trying to indoctrinate students. We're trying to teach students the truth about American history. And American history involves and is centered all around African-American history and the things that African Americans have offered this country over the last 250 years.
Again, at no time did the gentleman being interviewed answer the questions from the reporter concerning the study of queer theory, political movements for abolishing prisons, that the curriculum focuses on the reparations movement, and why couldn't the course be taught without including these issues. Instead, the gentleman talks about the truth being told, about the good and the bad of African American history, but never once addresses why these particular courses were placed into the curriculum. And what does it have to do with Black history? It is, in my opinion, that Black history is American history. And as a Black man, what do I care about queer theory? Nothing. Instead, how about we teach about the struggles that took place in history, and then the progress that has been made since the time of slavery, instead of living in the past. The word tells us in Isaiah 43, verses 18 through 19, forget about the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. The past is something that should be forgotten. Unfortunately, a lot of people let it define them. But please, don't just take my word for it. You be the judge of this so-called AP course, because what Governor DeSantis said is actually what is defined in the course curriculum. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the AP African American Studies, and after doing some light reading of what is actually in this course document, lo and behold, what do I see? Topic 4.19, Black Queer Studies, which then expounds on exploring the concept of the queer of color critique grounded in Black feminism and intersectionality as a Black studies lens that shifts sexuality studies toward racial analysis. But wait, it gets better, because we then go into topic 4.29, which is movements for Black lives. So I already know that this topic is rooted in the fake ideology of Black Lives Matter that does nothing for the Black community and gets rich off of us. I mean, when you have big time elite figures pumping millions into your organization, but your community still looks like it's in shambles, then who are you really helping besides lining your own pockets? But again, I digressed. Lastly, you have the reparations movement as depicted here in topic 4.30, just as Governor DeSantis stated in the video that I showed in the beginning. But again, don't take my word for it, just watch.
What they banned was an instructor's ability, a teacher's ability to simply teach the truth to the curriculum. When you go to school, I've been a teacher for many years. You don't go there just to learn an academic education. You go there to learn a social education as well. There has to be a sense of morality contextualized in the curriculum in order for education to be effective. Who cares how much you know if nobody likes who you are? You have to teach social dynamics with the curriculum.
So wait, what I'm hearing is school is not necessarily for education, but social education. Or did he misspoke? And he really meant socialism. Okay, I get it now. Instead of teaching the basics of why I sent my child to school in the first place to learn, let's say, reading, writing, and mathematics, basic and advanced arithmetic, the teachers are supposed to teach moral, social dynamics. And if that does not line up to my core values, morals, and beliefs as the child's parent, then I am now labeled the enemy of the state. Seems like another woke agenda used to brainwash our kids. Parents, I can't stress this enough. Know what's going on at your child's school, and if feasible, homeschool them. Saints, I leave y'all with this as my final thoughts, because you won't hear most pastors on Sunday morning preaching this out of the book of John, because they will probably be too busy cashing in on their nonprofit 501c3 status. In John 15 verses 18 through 21, it reads, "If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love you as its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they will also keep yours. But all these things they will do to you on an account of my name, because they do not know who sent me." Jesus said it, not me. And I pray that you have an ear to hear and eyes to see what's going on around you. America has lost its way, and every day you see more and more people turning away from Christian values. But please know this, the Bible says that the Lord is only coming back for a remnant who shall be saved, even us whom he called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Be blessed. And I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it brought you some clarity. So please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so that I can continue to bring you more real content of this unseen truth. And as always, thanks for watching.